we don't want to make any experiments at this point in time. Or the operations guy rocks up and says, procurement slow down a little bit. Our production system cannot cope with this new technology, right? What I'm saying is we then need to facilitate a trade-off decision-making between the different functions where there is a lot of politics involved, there's a lot of gut feel involved. So it's not about the nitty-gritty numbers, it's about having the big picture and doing the right thing.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Here to inspire the world, I am عبدالمجيد مرزوق. We are interviewing expertise to get their success story and to inspire you, as well as we are doing site visit on a spot. Today we are having a special guest from Acrolabs, Mr. Michael. He is the co-founder of Acrolabs. We were talking about category management. What is category management and what it could bring? It will not bring only saving money. No, it will bring a lot of things and a lot of value addition. I'm leaving you with our interview today. How are you, Mr. Michael?
I'm between brilliant and marvelous. Thank you very much. How about yourself?
Yes, I'm fine. Alhamdulillah. You are expert and your company is talking about the category management. So we need just to know in brief, what is category management?
In order to explain what category management is, let me talk about procurement holistically first. So there are three process groups in procurement, one of which is the operational procurement. Call it purchase to pay, so it's the order management. And then there's the tactical procurement, call it tendering and negotiation processes or source to contract. And then there's the strategic procurement work where you align the procurement objectives with the overarching business strategy and business unit objectives. And this is strategic procurement / category management.
Okay, so what you are doing in the category management and the strategic procurement? I believe you have a full story with the digitalization.
Oh, we do, yes. Category management or strategy development and execution is a process like any other. So you start with analyzing your demand, which basically means you need to understand the overarching business objectives. Are we competing on innovation? Are we facing sustainability risks? Are we competing on price or cost? And this is what you need to understand because procurement needs to support it. Right? Very often it's assumed that everybody needs everything cheap and then procurement only goes on price. But that's wrong. So we need to understand what is the overarching strategy, what does the technology roadmap look like, what does financial situation look like, are we in a position to buy equipment or shall we rather lease equipment? And once we've understood the demand holistically, we look into the market side. What kind of innovation is out there? What kind of new suppliers are emerging? Are there any geopolitical risks that are going on? To mirror the two. And once we've understood demand and supply, we understand the strategic implications of that. And from here, we think of strategic options. Are we driving price? Are we driving sustainability? Are we driving innovation? What is it? And from there, we derive specific value levers. So do we want to run a tender? Do we want to do a co-innovation with a supplier? Do we want to focus on sustainability? And translate this into initiatives and tasks that we then execute and measure the progress and the return on investment, respectively the results. That's a process like any other in a very structured way.
Okay, but the most difficult part is consolidating demand. Imagine that the organization doesn't have accuracy of data, or it will be very difficult to consolidate such data. What will you do?
Actually, I'm convinced that this is not a problem. Because in order to do a good strategy, you need primarily two things. You need to understand from a qualitative and strategic perspective, what does the demand look like? And you need to understand from a strategic and qualitative perspective, what does the supply look like? Of course, you need to understand how much spend do I have? How much contracts do I have? When are the contracts expiring? What is the performance of my suppliers? But for the purpose of strategy definition and execution, you don't need that in real time. You don't need that on purchase order line item level. You can work with assumptions. In operational procurement, if the master data is wrong, your process stops. You don't get the purchase order out. You cannot pay an invoice. In strategy, doesn't matter whether it's 4 or 5. You assume it's 4.5 and you can continue.
But for the assumption, there is a big risk, am I right? You will maybe 20, 30, 40% is in error.
If it's
in error percentage.
If it's completely off, yes, but it's usually not completely off.
Okay. So you are relying on some data, then you will put some assumption for the missing data.
Kind of. I mean, it's really different people in the organization perceive the same piece of information in a completely different way. There are two dimensions of this. There's a functional. So if there's a new piece of technology in the market, procurement people might consider this an opportunity to substitute something existing, get better value or better commercials out of it. But then the sales guys might say, slow down a little bit, my friends in procurement. Our customers are so super happy. We don't want to make any experiments at this point in time. Or the operations guy rocks up and says, procurement, slow down a little bit. Our production system cannot cope with this new technology, right? What I'm saying is we then need to facilitate a trade-off decision-making between the different functions where there is a lot of politics involved. There's a lot of gut feel involved. So it's not about the nitty-gritty numbers. It's about having the big picture and doing the right thing. And the other dimension is geographical. Just think of a port in China is closed because of COVID. We've seen that. That's a massive problem for the guys in the US and for the guys in Europe. The Asian part of the world thinks, wow, great. All the global demand is gone, more availability for us at better prices. So it's really judging the qualitative and the strategic implications and making the right decisions. It's not about nitty-gritty detailed number.
Okay, I got it. Now, let me assume that I will invest money to do the category management and digitalization. What will be the final outcome? What is the ultimate goal will be? What I have to achieve?
You have to support the business strategy best possibly. I give you an example. A company like Siemnse has 4 business units. And one business unit is in a innovation competition. Another business unit wants to launch a new product fast. Again, another business unit is facing sustainability risks. And the 4th business unit wants to drive operational efficiency. And they all need the help from procurement.
Yes.
And procurement looks at it and says, they all need steel. And then they say, that's a great opportunity to bundle demand, to drive economies of scale and give them cheap steel. And that's what procurement does. And then the business comes back and says, unfortunately, that's not what I needed. I needed fast steel, I needed green steel, I needed high quality steel, and I needed innovative steel. So what I'm saying is the outcome depends on the overall strategy. So you make a contribution to the sustainability target, you make a contribution to the efficiency target, you make a contribution to the whatever the overall target is.
Okay, clear. I didn't see any consolidation for the sourcing strategy and category management between 2 or 3 private company. Yes, we can do it that within the organization, but within the private company, I'm not talking about the family business, because the family business sometimes you will have 20, 15 companies, but outside the family company, outside the government, I didn't see any kind of example. Do you agree?
I'm not sure I understood the question right, but there are procurement alliances that work across company boundaries, no doubt about it. That can be within an industry, that can even be across various industries. And I guess the most common example is private equity-owned portfolio companies, where the private equity company is orchestrating procurement across its portfolio companies.
Okay, I mean, can we have one framework agreement for 2 private company which reach to the ultimate goal of the category management and the strategic sourcing?
I think that's perfectly feasible.
Do we have such success story?
Many, yes. I mean, organizations like Vodafone Group, like other telco players, they have procurement joint ventures that span across various operating companies. So there are various examples like this.
Okay, very nice. I saw you many times talking about the efficiency and effectiveness, and there is a differences between both of them. from the category management perspective. Can you explain it more?
Yes, that relates to the operational and the tactical process. So the story is always we free up capacity through automating purchase to pay. And once we have the capacity, we don't lay off people, we don't get rid of people, because it's not about efficiency gains. The effectiveness gain is significantly higher. So if we dedicate these people to drive savings or value, the value is significantly higher than just reducing a couple of headcounts.
Okay, I got it. The augmentation, this leads us to the augmentation part.
Kind of. I mean, we compare augmentation and automation. There are people that say, let's automate category strategies. And we fundamentally believe that's not possible because of what I said before. It's always gut feeling involved, it's politics involved, and no artificial intelligence can do that. And automation means getting rid of people. Augmentation means making people better, educating them, skilling them up. And this is the conversation we had all day in the conference, that people is still the most important factor in procurement, specifically in strategic procurement, because it's so collaborative. And this is why augmentation is the way in strategic procurement, rather than automating people away and let a computer decide. If a computer decides, it will be ultimately wrong, because it's various steps. You go from a macroeconomic analysis to an industry-specific analysis, to a company-specific analysis, to a stakeholder-specific analysis. And in each of these steps, you have a likelihood of 20% that something goes wrong or that there's a disagreement. And if you don't validate step by step and you just automate the end-to-end process, at the end, it's approximately right or precisely wrong. But it will never be what the collaborative human intelligence would have decided.
Okay. Do you think that maybe the augmentation part and the automation part, augmentation, you said value. Okay, I return to the question. Do you mean the augmentation is the change management? It's awareness?
It is awareness, it's change management, it's upskilling, yes.
Upskilling, okay. Also, you were talking about from changing from power play to support, something like that.
Yes, that refers to the Siemnse example. When you have this horizontal view and you say, they all need steel, I bundle demand, I drive economies of scale, that's because you want to negotiate with a supplier and you have a lot of power. But then you have a lot of power, get cheap steel, but nobody needs cheap steel, so it didn't really help.
Okay, I get it. طيب, the last thing, do you need to share any message with the audience?
I think this is particularly relevant for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, because we're really impressed with Vision 2030. And the more innovation, sustainability, resilience are the key objective, the less the traditional category management approach really works. So specifically, in this ambitious environment, we really need to develop procurement strategies from the overarching business strategy or even from the vision for the country.
Thank you very much. I know that you are having back-to-back meeting and we just get a few minutes with you. The last thing we need just to say to the camera, to inspire the world.
To inspire the world.
To inspire the world, and see you inshallah in the coming session. Thank you very much.